The Nubia Z70 Ultra has just got itself an upgrade, and it hasn't been too long, about I think 6 months, when I reviewed the Z70 Ultra. A good phone, but there were certainly some areas for improvement, while the S model hopefully is going to improve upon that. So the Z70S Ultra here has a larger main sensor. It's still 35mm. Unfortunately, they did away with the variable aperture. We've got the same setup for our ultra-wide camera, which is 50 megapixels, and a 2.7 times optical zoom camera, which is 64. That's the same as before. We get a slightly larger battery, 6,600 milliamp hours now, powered by the Snapdragon 8 Elite still. And it's got the 80-watt charging, and I've got the photographer edition here too, which does look really nice. So I did get the Z70S Ultra from AliExpress. Included we have a SIM tray tool, quick start guide, clear plastic case, the Type-C cable to Type-C, and that's it. There is no charger included, but I did get this, which is the 80-watt EU travel charger with the single Type-C output. And a word from our sponsor, which is AliExpress. Their summer sale has now started. So there's many products that you can enjoy up to 80% discount on. They have flash sales, and even some items will be just £1. So shake and win to get secret prizes for your summer. And you can also win a mysterious prize too as well. So those coupon codes, they're up on the screen where you can get these certain discounts depending on what you're going to be spending there. And they do have their cashback challenge that is coming. So we've got a link in the description area where you can join my team, shop on AliExpress, earn points, and get 5% cashback. And the more points that you get, the more you can unlock up to 10% total cashback and save up to £450. So if you're after more information on this AliExpress summer sale, check the link in the description of this video. So we have an optical fingerprint reader. It works well, location's good, bezels are nice and slim, and I love the full screen display. It looks fantastic. It's the same screen as the Red Magic 10S Pro that's using, and the 10, and they just decided to share the parts. So very, very similar there. So 6.85-inch screen here, 144 Hertz refresh rate to it, 2000 nits, indirect sunlight. This AMOLED fares very well. It's not bad. It's covered with Gorilla Glass 7i, which is good. Weight of the phone, 228 grams. And the thickness of it, it's not bad. Okay, it is 8.6 millimeters. The camera module, this sticks out quite a bit. So you can see that side on. It's a chunky camera module. I like the look of it. I like the fact that they decided to keep the 35mm lens with this, great, but no more variable aperture. So it's fixed now, the 50 megapixel sensor, which is slightly larger, with an aperture of f1.7, which is very, very minor compared to the fully open 1.6 we had before with a variable aperture. 64 megapixel zoom camera. This is 2.7 times optical image stabilization, 50 megapixel ultra wide. So that hasn't changed. And we do have that ring flash there. This is the photographer edition. I like it because it looks like a retro Kodak kind of camera vibe feel to it, or Pentax or something like that, which is good. Battery has slightly increased here, so it's just a minor little tweak. The S version, 6,600 milliamp hours. It's silicon carbon. You get the 80-watt flash charging, fast charging there. 2 nano SIMs for the SIM tray, microphone, video out support. Yes, thumbs up. 3.5mm headphone jack. Nope, that is missing. IR transmitter here, microphone, antenna lines, metal frame to it. And I love this. This is still the best, I think, or one of the best out there, camera buttons here. So it's two-stage, proper two-stage. And when you press it, if you press it, it's going to go into the camera mode, which is great for quick launching it. And if you just press down halfway, focus, press again, and you take a photo. So this is not one of those stupid capacitive ones. I don't like the iPhone's capacitive one. I don't like the other phone brands that are using the capacitive touch one, like the Oppos I've covered. This is the way you do it, a proper hardware button. Nubia's doing something right. So we have our power on, volume up and down, and like the gaming phones, there is a switch, but this switch is to go into the street photography mode. So if I switch that, I was already in the camera. It is going to launch that, which is good. So overall, great build quality to it. But the under display camera under this screen, I don't think that was a good move. For the gaming phones, okay, I think it's acceptable. But for a camera focused phone, 16 megapixels, they made some upgrades to this with the algorithms. Under display cameras, while it is fantastic, don't get me wrong, to have no ugly notch or cutout, it gives us poor quality cameras. And it is the real weakness of this. You want to take selfies? This is not your phone. Or for vlog footage. It's just not good. You'll see later with my samples. Sorry, just a few more specs. I know I mentioned at the start, but in case you missed it, Snapdragon 8 Elite, and you get the 16 gigabytes of RAM, 512 gigabytes of storage, and you can even get 28 gigabytes of RAM and a terabyte of storage if you want to go that far. So UFS 4.0 is the storage. So it has their Nubia AI OS. Of course, AI, everything's AI, and this is 1.5, the version based off Android 15. Performance is very, very good. Everything's quick, snappy, no lag, no stutters, especially with that ample 16 gigabytes of RAM. I'm still one of those guys out there saying that 8 gigabytes on a phone is still absolutely fine. Even 12 would have been fine, but 16 is good here for what they offer for the price. Pricing, I know I don't mention it a lot in my videos because this has been recorded after the embargo now, after it's been released. I know that it's around about 830, 800 euros or so, which I think for the spec is good. It's not bad at all. It's a bit cheaper than certainly other brands out there. So performance is good, good, good. Very fast, no lag, no stutters. Now, Nubia are quite lenient with the bloatware. It's not over the top. A couple of these apps even, in fact, I installed those 3 there myself. So there's just the Google apps that are extra on here, a lot of the Google apps, but what I would classify as bloat, no, not really there at all. Widevine, never one, sir. Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, full HD, full camera support here, Camera 2 API, which is great. So you can use third-party apps if you wanted to. Performance-wise, it's powerful, but not as powerful as their gaming phones as expected because it doesn't have the same level of cooling, and we do notice this later on. So if you're a real gamer, you like the screen, I would still go for the Red Magic series, the Red Magic 10S Pro, for example, but you get the better cameras, rare cameras, with this particular phone here. Now, the other thing is internal storage. As I mentioned, it's UFS 4.0, and it is very, very quick here. Great speeds from it. And battery life, runtime of 9 hours with this fixed test that I do in all my reviews of phones and tablets. But realistically, about 7 hours, 7.5 hours. And this was done at 144 hertz too, with a refresh rate. Charge time, what did it do? Well, just under an hour to go from 19% to 100, which isn't exactly the fastest out there. 80-watt charging. There are a lot of brands that can do, fully charge this kind of capacity battery in about 35 minutes or 40. Under an hour, still good, but could be a little bit faster. And one important thing of note is I wanted to run and show you the results of this, the stress test with 3D Mark, to check on the throttling, right? Unfortunately, the phone cannot complete the 20-minute stress test. It simply just gets too hot and crashes out the application, which is not a good sign. And that is reflected that you'll see later in gaming that it's a phone that does heat up quite a bit when you push it really hard. Okay, now the gaming performance, it's very good at the beginning, but after a while, the phone will start to heat up. And what I've seen is that if you push it really hard on absolute top ultra settings, the maximum than 60 frames per second with Genshin Impact, that eventually it gets quite hot around the back, the frame. And I find the gaming performance, it will throttle down to 40 frames per second from 60. It can be a little bit disappointing. And this is where I would say that if you really want to game a lot on this phone, I would go and get this, the Red Magic 10S Pro. I've got the review in the channel. So go and check out that, and I think it's a lot better, this option for gaming. Now, you do have some of the, features from the gaming phones that are here too as well. So if I swipe twice, you've got this from the Red Magic. And it makes sense that Nubia puts this in here because, they've got it already. They're using the same screen. So you can go and set the performance. You can put it into the rise, and that's when things get really, really hot. But after a good 40 so minutes of gaming, it becomes a bit uncomfortable to the touch. And I'm seeing temperatures of getting around 55 degrees Celsius, which is not good at all. And as I mentioned, I couldn't finish the 3D Mark stress test. So that's the downside to this phone, is the thermals is the big one for me. Onto the haptics and the call quality. It's good. No issues with call quality. Haptics, Strong little pulses, very similar to the Red Magic, I'd say almost identical, so they're probably using this same little haptics motor, the little vibrations that it does generate in there. Speakers sound very similar to the Red Magic 10S or the 10 Pro 2, and that's probably because, again, it's the same hardware. I think it is. Without having to, of course, open it up and confirm, I would say there's a good chance that it is there. So what I'm going to do is play a track now, 100% volume, and you'll hear that these speakers are good. There's a bit of bass to them. The volume is also good, so they do check out. These are about 7.5 out of 10 speakers. They're good, decent ones. Now, for some of you kids out there that like to walk along and use your phone like some sort of boombox, portable boombox, then you might be a bit disappointed in the volume. It's certainly not the loudest. That's one complaint. Now let's get onto those cameras. So the 16 megapixel under display camera for video is not very good. You can see it looks a little bit washed out. It seems like I've got a smudge over the front of the glass where that camera is, but I haven't, of course, because the sensor's got to look around those pixels. So exactly the same as what we had with the Red Magic phones here, because it's using that same technology. In fact, it's the same screen, and I believe exact same sensor and setup here that we do get with the Nubia Z70S Ultra. And it doesn't seem to be any electronic image stabilization, so it's not the best phone at all for people that want to vlog. You take a lot of selfies and selfie portrait photos. You are not going to get the best quality from this front-facing camera, sadly. Here with our rear cameras now, this is the ultra wide, which is 50 megapixels, using electronic image stabilization. Now applying zoom, we should see around the 1 mark, a 1 time zoom, that it will then swap over, and you can see that, that's that transition. So we go over to our 50 megapixel 35 millimeter main camera, which has optical image stabilization and electronic. Looking again at part of the castle wall here, this tower that's got the cannon damage. It's been a while since I've been here. And now slowly zooming in, I'll take this up to 2.7, or there we go, 2 actually, it's gone over to our optical zoom periscopic camera, and this is now currently 3 times digital zoom, looking at that cannonball hole. And I keep zooming in. Let's take this up now to 5 times. So that is now exactly 5 times digital zoom there. And what do you think of this quality? Now we can shoot with the main camera 120 frames per second, 4K, and 8K at 30 with the main camera only, not the ultra wide or the zoom camera. There's a quick sample I'm showing you now. This is 8K, 30 frames per second, and it is a lot sharper. It does have more details, but the file size is very large, and it's just the 30 frames per second, no 60 yet with 8K footage. Over to still shots now. The under display camera, not good. It does a lot of processing here that makes selfies and selfie portraits look like they've just been tweaked by AI. Portraits, however, I do like. Good skin tones, contrast, colors. 35mm I think is a perfect focal length for portraits as well. And this shot here of Wapo looking very good. A lot of detail with his fur, those nice lovely blue eyes. All good, that 35mm camera. And the zoom camera at 85mm here, like the colors, like the amount of details we're getting here, and it's a very handy zoom camera to have good processing normally. Now that 35mm, another couple of examples here, this one HDR working well, and I do like it. I think a lot of people will be after 35mm, there's not many phones with it. The weakness though, however, is the ultra-wide camera. Not very good, a little bit over-processed. The sharpening there needs to be eased back, and I'm not too fond of the look of the ultra-wide. For social media, sure, it's fine if you don't crop in. And the night shots, yeah, it's all over the place. The tint is wrong here, very strong green tint. Not good, what I would call flagship grade low light photos here. It should be a lot better than this. So let me quickly recap here the good and the bad. Well, I do love that dual stage hardware, proper hardware, dedicated camera button. It works really well. I wish more brands would just stick to something basic like this and not use those horrible capacitive touch buttons, which you can use for zoom. Yes, you can't for this button, but they don't work as well as this does here. So Nubia's done something really right with that. So we've got the larger sensor now, but honestly, I'm not seeing much of a difference compared to the Z70 Ultra's camera. In fact, that had the variable aperture. We've lost that now, which is a little bit disappointing. And speaking of disappointing, I find some of the image processing There's potential with the hardware, but the software side of things needs work, needs firmware updates, and tweaks with, I think, the camera processing side of things. Sometimes it looks a little bit over sharp, and just they've gone a bit overboard with some of the processing I do find with the model here. Now the screen is great that it doesn't have an ugly cutout or notch, and the in-screen fingerprint reader is working great, even though it is optical. And the under-display camera, we all know about these under-display cameras. They're still not good. They're terrible for video. That's the worst of it. And yeah, when you look at some of those 16 megapixel selfie shots that I did show you in portrait, some of them are kind of okay, but they're still like, they're using AI to improve the photo. It's still not good there, and I'm not really fond of that. I think a camera-centric, focused phone should definitely not have an under-display selfie camera. It should just be a standard cutout. That's all. And it would be so much better if they did that. But no. So if you're in the market and you're looking for a 35mm, there are other options out there, but they're a bit more expensive. In fact, double the price. If you're looking at something like, say, what we have with the Vivo X200 Ultra, you're going to pay double, but you do get a lot better photo quality with it. But if you're on a bit of a budget, then you have this. But if you're a gamer, I would go for the Red Magic 10S Pro and not this. As I pointed out and mentioned, it does get extremely hot if you intend to push it very hard. So that's the full story of the Nubia Z70S Ultra. Thanks a lot for watching this review.